Welcome to the AFR Saints channel, where we provide you daily content on your favorite team, the New Orleans Saints. Do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to leave your comments below and smash that like button. Who dat? So Mickey Loomis was on the Saints Hour with Mike Hoss. It's the weekly radio show that they do. And obviously, this has not been a great week around New Orleans. The Saints are 5-6. They dropped a game at Atlanta where they just couldn't finish in the red zone. We all know they were 0 for 5 on converting touchdowns in the red zone. They kicked 5 field goals in the game, and they lost 24-15. A game where you had an opportunity coming off your bye to put a stranglehold on this division, to be up 2 games on the Falcons, and instead you lost. You're in a record tie, but they have the tiebreaker. So still a lot of ball to play. You can still win this division, but nobody's happy about where this organization is, let alone Mickey Loomis, who is standing by the premise that they don't need to make massive changes.
I believe with all my heart we got the right people in the building. I know we do. There's too many other things that are good signs. I mean, we're 12th in the league on offense. We just had a game where we had 444 yards. We had 5 trips into the red zone. We're in the top 10 in our league in trips to into the red zone. So it's hard to score if you're not getting into the scoring area. We're getting into the scoring area. And historically, we've done a good job in that area for lots of different reasons, lots of different variables. We're not doing that as well this year, and yet I think we can.
Hey, Muse, if you have an offense that gets a lot of yards, but not a lot of points, what do we typically in football vernacular refer to those yards as?
Empty.
Oh! Well, it's a good thing we have the emperor of empty yards. Thank you, Muse, for standing at attention. Paulie?
Yeah, Paul, what are you doing?
Off with your head!
I'm working the video board.
So you can't stand while you're working the video board?
I mean, I could.
Let's try it again. The emperor of empty yards. Paulie, you have to put yourself on camera.
That's the whole point. I'm working the video board.
Well, you could hit the button and then, let's try it again. You could hit the button and then stand up. If you're not watching, you should be on the 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel. Derek Dallas Carr, the emperor of empty yards. There you go, Paulie. Well done. Good enough, I suppose. Anyway, I lost my point. Oh, yeah. Mickey Loomis is basically saying, we gain a lot of yards. We just don't score a lot of points. We got the right people. And Mickey Loomis also tried to lean on history for the reason the Saints might be able to fix it.
If we're going to accomplish the things we want to accomplish, we've got to get over that. And look, we have a history of doing that. I mean, we've had 17 years, I think it is, a string of 17 years up through last year of being over 50% conversion rate in the TDs in the red zone. So, and look, we're calling a lot of the same plays, and we're just not finishing that off. We need to do that.
17 years. 17 years of fixing in the red zone. Over those 17 years, though, it kind of feels like there were 2 pretty important variables that contributed to the Saints finishing in the red zone. Would anybody in the room, I'll leave this open, anybody in the room like to take a guess? The 2 variables that over that stretch were very important to the New Orleans Saints finishing in the red zone. Muse, would you like to guess at one?
Well, I mean, there was Drew Brees.
Yes, give yourself a ding. Yep. Paulie, would you like to guess over 17 years the thing that maybe they were good at, allowed them to finish in the red zone and score?
I would say Sean Payton.
Oh, wow! Hot dog! Now, where is Drew Brees? Muse, where is Drew Brees today?
He's retired. Yeah, he's not playing football anymore. Can't even use his right arm, he said.
I heard that story.
Yeah.
So he's not going to help the Saints.
Not this year.
No. And, Paulie, I don't know. Can we put out a missing persons report for Sean Payton? I haven't seen him in a while. Any idea where his whereabouts?
He is in Denver, Colorado right now.
What's he doing there, Paulie?
He is the head coach of the Denver Broncos.
Oh, how are they doing?
Okay. Better than the Saints.
I mean, I'm pretty sure they have the longest winning streak in the NFL right now.
They're hot right
as a
now.
matter of fact. Oh, that's Sean Payton's coaching that team.
Yes.
So the 2 most important variables to that decade plus of success aren't in New Orleans anymore. Am I understanding you correctly?
You are correct. Yeah, you got it.
Got it. We're obviously having some fun with it, but I feel dumb even saying this out loud because I shouldn't need to verbalize this. If you're leaning on history, like the history of getting it right with this organization in the red zone and score, like the two most important pieces of that history were Sean Payton, Drew Brees. They're not there. That would be like going to New England today and saying, we've got a 20-year history of winning Super Bowls. We got the right people in the building. You know who's not in the building? The greatest quarterback ever. You have Mac Jones. It's not going well. Clearly, we know now how massive it was to have Tom Brady there. So, no, there's not a lot of confidence in New England to get things right because the most important piece isn't there anymore. Maybe Mickey Loomis is just buying time. Maybe it's just him trying to say the right things publicly to appear unified. He was also asked about the defensive performance this season. Here's what Lumis said.
We've had, a number of games that we played really, really well. We've had a few games that we haven't played as well. And yet, one thing we have continued to do different than past years is we've taken the ball away. I think we're at, if I recall, we're at 14 interceptions. I mean, that's a fantastic number. We're +6, as I said, in the takeaway turnover ratio. There's a lot of winning football being played, and yet we're doing some things that keep us from winning. And so we've got to focus on that and correct it.
That's true. They have taken the ball away. That's fair. That's something that they were very bad at a year ago, one of the worst in the NFL at takeaways. And this year they've been one of the best in the NFL at takeaways. But do you remember the game a couple of weeks ago when the Saints played the Bears? And they played Tyler Badgett, a rookie quarterback from a Division II school, making his second start ever? Was it a second or whatever it was? Third? Do you remember how many times the Bears turned the ball over in that game? 5. The Saints got 5 takeaways in that game. And they had to hang on at the end to win 24-17 at home against a rookie quarterback from a Division II school on a crappy team making his third start ever that turned the ball over 5 times. You stink. In the defensive statistics, this is the thing that Dennis Allen could have continued to hold his hat on. It's almost like it's like the Jets right now with Robert Saleh. They are atrocious offensively, and they put so many eggs in the Aaron Rodgers basket, and they're just snake bitten. 4 plays into the season, you all know the story. He tears his Achilles. And the offense has been one of the worst in the NFL right there with the Patriots and the Giants. But the reason they've stayed in games and continued to win is because they are still one of the best defensive teams in the entire NFL, and that's allowed them to stay in games and mathematically stay in the playoff hunt. Yes, I know they're 4-7, and that ain't great, but you're talking about a team that defensively has still managed to be elite. I mean, if it didn't go good against the Dolphins and the Bills the last couple weeks, I get it. But, they lost a game to the Raiders 16-12. You got to be able to score points. They lost 27-6 to the Chargers. They won a game 13-10 against the Giants. So they've managed to find ways to stay in games because of their defense. The Saints haven't been able to do that. It's been a Jekyll and Hyde type approach for New Orleans. So if the one thing that Dennis Allen was elite at is now starting to wane because your defensive efficiency numbers continue to regress after September, then I don't know what else we're hanging on to here. I feel a bit like a broken record, admittedly, that we're saying a lot of the same things, and I'm not sure there's anything this team can do that's going to change anybody's mind because Derek Carr in his 10th NFL season is what he is. Your offensive line is never going to be dominant, and now you might go into this game against Detroit without your top 3 receivers, with Thomas, Olave, and Shaheed all potentially missing this week. So what are you really hoping to get out of your offense and then a defense that's going to be going against a really good Bears team or a really good Lions team? I don't know, man. I understand they have to do media availability, and so they have to speak. And when everybody's pissed off and everybody's out for blood, every time they talk, everything is going to be nitpicked, the same way it is with Dennis Allen and the players and now Mickey Loomis, because there's nothing they could say unless if they tell you the honest-to-goodness truth, which is we're not good. Like, that's the one thing that would pacify the Saints fan base, is if Mickey Loomis had said, listen, this isn't our expectation. We had grander expectations than this, and we're not playing to it. but then still actions speak louder than words. And if you maintain the status quo, you're not going to appease this fan base. And it doesn't feel like anything is coming during the season. The real telltale is going to come after this season when they look at it in total, another season in football purgatory, that 8-9, 9-8 perpetual mediocrity. Are you willing to make changes to get yourself past, to break through this little phase where you're just in this gelatinous clump of average in the middle of the NFL? And you got a little over a month before we find that answer. In the meantime, we'll just keep bitching every time they have press conferences and say nothing at all. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.